when did you know that this dude was built a little bit different than your normal freshman to show up on campus?
Well, I mean, depends on how you mean built a little bit different. If you mean like just physically built a little different, the first time I saw him, like you just said, this dude walked into the indoor and we're just having a 7-on-7 when he got there early, and he comes walking out of the locker room onto the indoor, and I couldn't tell who it was. I knew I hadn't seen him before, and my first thought was like, who's this linebacker? I mean, just physically, just obviously everybody remembers. Just physically, just an impressive dude. I mean, just looked the part, played the part. And, that was the first time I'd ever met him and the first time I had ever seen him. And just, physically, you're like, wow, this kid should still be a senior in high school. And, it's funny because nowadays I think we see that a lot more, right? We see freshmen coming out of high school that are just so much more mature physically than we were back then. So, Reese was kind of ahead of his time, from a physical standpoint. But what a lot of people don't know is where he really excelled and where he was, really ahead of his time. And it sounds kind of funny to say it this way, but he was incredibly mature. Now, when I say that, I mean football mature. I mean, he was like, his knowledge of the game and the way he came in and learned the offense, what his role was on every play, even when he wasn't getting the ball. People always ask, what was it like having Reese as a teammate? And I tell everybody, Maurice Clarett was no different than any other teammate. He was one of the best teammates that we had. I mean, he was selfless. He was hardworking. He was where he needed to be when he needed to be there that year. There was never a doubt in my mind if I was dropping back and, a linebacker was coming off the edge or coming through the B gap, and that was his guy. Never a doubt that Reese was going to get the job done blocking. But what really set him apart was just his patience and his vision. I mean, I remember I used to hand the ball off, and, we'd be running play side power, and, the backside linebacker, middle linebacker would over pursue. There'd be a cutback. I would kind of have a little more vision, a little wider field of vision. Back, he's getting up to the line of scrimmage, and it was almost like playing a video game where I'd see the hole and I'd be thinking to myself, "Oh, cut back." And as I'm starting to even think it, boom, he's gone. He's out the backside for 25 yards. Where he may have been stuffed up for a plus or minus 1 yard at the line of scrimmage had he stayed played side. I mean, his vision, his patience was next level. I mean, it was next level from a maturity standpoint. I like to look at Reese this way. Nobody is ever going to say Archie who. Had Reese been able to stay on the field and keep it together, there is zero doubt in my mind every single Buckeye fan would be saying Archie because Maurice Clarett was that good. And I firmly believe, our offensive line did a phenomenal job my senior year, and the vision is what we missed in the backfield, from some of our backs that just, Reese was gifted. Had we had Reese my senior year, there's zero doubt in my mind we're at the very least playing for another national title.